Hello everyone, I am dwangoAC, Keeper of TASBot, and we're here with DarkXoa to record commentary for Sniq's Super Metroid Any Percent run on TAS videos. It's an amazing tool-assisted speedrun. DarkXoa, would you like to introduce yourself right quick?
Hey, I'm DarkXoa.
And what brought you to the Super Metroid community?
Oh, my brother dragged me into it, and also taught me a little bit about task tools. I make some theory task stuff, so what we're gonna see here is well outside of my realm, but I am familiar.
Awesome. We're going to do a commentary run of Sniq's Any Percent Super Metroid run, tool-assisted speedrun. We'll have some time during the intro to talk about some other stuff, and here goes.
All right, so like we said, this is Super Metroid Any Percent by Sniq. Sniq does lots and lots of tasks for Super Metroid. He's found lots and lots of glitches and has really pioneered this game forward in a lot of different ways. So this run was published in 2018. It obsolete the previous Any Percent TAS, I believe by CP Adolf, by 1 minute and 40 seconds. And also because the boss order in this particular task is almost the same as the reverse boss order, the only difference being that we're going to do Kraid first, whereas obviously reverse boss order would do Kraid last. Because that's such a minor difference in the long run, it was decided that this task would also obsolete the RBO task, I believe also by CB Adolf. And it beat that task by 10 minutes and 40 seconds, so a huge margin there. This task actually was the first ever to showcase the Moonfall glitch, which we will see right in the very first room. And the RTA runners have been doing that glitch ever since. Well, not quite glitch, exploit, I guess.
One quick note, if you want to find this run on TAS Videos, you can do so at tasvideos.org/3653m, along with several other categories for low percent, 100%, and a game end glitch. Almost all of them were done by Sniq or Sniq and Nobody Nada.
Oh, that was Saturn that did the RBO task. Thank you, Eternized Dragon. So yeah, a few other glitches that were showcased in this task were X mode, G mode, and super jumps. So, super jumps being showcased very prominently in this task. They break the graphics for the game just a little bit, and so what we have here, this encode, is using a Lua script developed by PJ Boy in order to fix the graphics, so to speak, and keep artifacting from happening as much as possible. You might see some door transitions look a little bit wonky because of that, but that little bit of brokenness is going to be the price that we pay for not seeing lots and lots of artifacting. Because it will, each time we use a super jump, it's going to add up over time. So we saw that Moonfall in the first room, and he actually just did one off of that door. The Moonfall works by when you are moonwalking backwards, and you jump out of that Moonfall, it causes Samus to, for some reason, go into a normal turnaround animation, and then jump out of it. And that, for whatever reason, underflows Samus's fall speed and causes it to become uncapped, so we can build up just massive amounts of fall speed. Another thing that you probably have noticed is that Samus is arm pumping, is what we call it, is changing the position of her arm cannon once every frame, so on, off, and each time that happens, Samus is pushed forward an extra pixel.
And is that viable on RTA?
Yes. So over the course of an RTA run, runners usually save several seconds. It varies depending on the length of the run, how much you can get in, and how willing you are to do it. Because TAS can do it all over the place, whereas a human might only want to do it at times where it's not going to interrupt their other inputs. So coming up, we have pretty standard little moonfall here, and another moonfall in this next room. This one being one of, if not the most time-saving, just to get down that climb room very fast. Right here we have some CWJs, or continuous wall jumping. The setup for that is multi-frame perfect usually, depending on how we're doing it. In that case, the jump height had to be perfect, and then the left to right alignment also had to be perfect in order to get a wall jump check animation on the platform that was now behind you. Or behind Samus.
The precision in this is just outstanding. How long is the fanfare?
I think...
Oh, go ahead.
So the fanfare is, it's I could do the math on the frames, but it's 6.66 seconds.
So it really adds up.
Yeah, I think that's 6 seconds and 40 frames.
How many items does this get in total?
This TAS.
Not that many. Let's see. I'm seeing.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'm looking.
There are
through the
100 total,
notes.
so
Yeah.
each item is going to be 1%.
Yeah. Oh, I guess we'll be able to tell at the end.
Yeah. So each one of these platforms, Sniq is having Samus do a wall jump at the very bottom of it, and then manipulate Samus's hitbox to do what we call a down grab, and be able to keep Samus's vertical speed high for the duration with that wall jump, and then grab the platform at the lowest point possible. What we just saw here was the BT skip. That is doable RTA only on the PAL version because of some weird jankery with the localization there, causing Samus's speed to be a bit higher than it normally should. It is sort of theoretically possible now, since a new arm pumping method has been found, kind of recently actually. So if you want more info about that and the RTA viability of it, Dr. Girlfriend about a year ago released a video on YouTube going into all of that and how the SNES reads inputs. But basically, the BT skip involves about 32 frame perfect inputs between the setup and arm pumps and jumping out the door and then doing a wall jump check to get in the door. So the way it works is that the door doesn't, or it has a timer. The game has a timer that checks every other frame for whether or not Samus has collected that bombs item. And so we want to make sure that the timer is on frame 1 so that you get a full, I think it's 42 frames in order to jump out of that door.
And what does BT mean in this context?
Sorry, that's a bomb Chorizo.
Ah.
The Chorizo holding our bombs item. So coming up here, we've got a beautiful showcase of moonfalling, where we're going to do what's called TAS dance. And we're going to end up using a slope killer. So slope killer is a pixel perfect unmorph, where you unmorph on the ground perfectly, and that saves Samus's fall speed. It stores it, and then you're able to unleash that again with another moonfall. And that allows us to clip through those powerbomb blocks in the green Brinstar shaft And we can collect power bombs and E-tank, super missiles, all earlier than we were supposed to. This is sort of the big, or the first big route change between this and any other any percent run.
By the way, why did the reserve tank be picked? Why was the reserve tank picked up earlier?
So the reserve tank is picked up because we're going to use it for a G-mode glitch in order to get into Lower Norfair through the back door, and I believe also Meridia through the back door. That might be the Hundo TAS only. I'm not sure on that one.
Is that used in RTA runs?
So that particular method, no. Or not method, but that particular use of the glitch, no. I think R mode is used in some. There might be some older, or not older, but more heavily glitched runs that are less popular. For like low percent, I believe, might use a G mode. But it is extremely precise. It involves a taking damage in a door, and then precisely pressing and releasing X-ray on the other side as the reserve has activated.
Thanks for taking
So
the time
here
to
is the
explain
next
that.
big... Yeah, no worries. So here's the next big thing. We are going to use a series of damage boosts, which sort of take advantage of the fact that when you press away from the way you're looking, and while holding jump, right at the time, there's actually not a huge, or not a small rather, window. We do them a lot RTA. You can send Samus flying from taking that damage, so just not amplifying the knockback.
I'd also like to note that when you're using a tool-assisted speedrun, or when you're making a tool-assisted speedrun, you can manipulate things like what enemy drops are to get results that would be improbable or impossible to rely on in an RTA run.
Yeah. So Sniq is doing that all throughout the run. You'll notice those two screes in the previous room dropped 2 missiles. Often those will drop either a small health or just nothing at all. More often than not. So there we just did a CWJ to get into Kraid's lair a little bit faster. Normally we would spend 3 supers and shoot all 3 of those blocks out, and then just get a running jump straight over. But this is TAS, so we do what we want.
Having been through that room, that is kind of disgusting to watch.
So yeah, that CWJ is actually, I don't know that I'd call it viable to enter Kraid's lair, but it is definitely RTA doable. I know a runner, a real cutie, has played with that a bit. So here we're going to see sort of a normal Kraid quick kill, but a different version of it. Sniq is using a bunch of damage to reduce lag in Kraid's lair by a lot. Or from Kraid moving up, and shooting the rocks as well while doing it also is reducing lag. So Kraid will stand up quite a bit faster. I think for RTA you can take damage twice in the spikes in order to speed Kraid up, and that will usually save up to, I think it's just under a second, 40 frames maybe.
All right, where are we headed next?
So we're gonna go down to Upper Norfair and get the last few of our movement tech items. I believe this task actually is going to skip high jump boots, so that's a pretty big deviation from pretty much anything else.
Yeah, Sniq notes that high jump boots are not acquired until after Ridley, as it turned out to be faster to delay them than to collect them by falling back down and climbing back up.
Yeah. So moving through pre-cathedral with more CWJs, absolutely so much faster. What happened just there? There is a squeeped there that Samus hit when she morphed, and because morphing is an uninterruptible animation, she was able to move through that squeeped, keeping her momentum, because the uninterruptible animation canceled the knockback, and so was able to get through that room quite a bit faster. Now we're going to get Speed Booster. You'll notice that a power bomb was laid right before picking that Speed Booster up. That is going to clear the sound chip to get rid of the noise of the lava rising, and allows that door to start moving quite a bit faster.
Ooh, some farming. So I noticed that there was a deliberate farming of the gamuts, right?
Yep. So we're gonna want some ammo here. Don't actually want very much health because we are about to execute that G-mode glitch that I was telling you about.
So the notes from Sniq say a single round of gamuts are farmed after speed, acquiring 5 supers at the cost of 70 frames. The odds of this happening normally are approximately 72 in 10,000.
Yeah. So just heavy drop manipulation there. So we're gonna farm up a few more supers, power bombs, and then that Viola just damaged Sniq inside the door, activating the reserves, but not until the next room. So because of the way that it activated in the next room, that gives 1 frame before the reserves trigger in order to activate X-ray scope. And then X-ray scope is then released, because normally that would give us an R mode. X-ray scope is released at a very precise time in order to get a G mode instead of R mode. So that allows us to kind of keep some of the properties of X-ray scope. The main one there being that we have deactivated PLMs. And you will see here, Sniq has a blue suit, so you're not able to press the run button at all while you have that blue suit, or else it will sort of just disappear. But that was acquired by doing a super jump, actually, that got stored. So when you set off a shine spark during that X mode, where I guess I haven't explained X mode actually. So X mode is if you activate the X-ray scope on the precise frame that knockback ends, you will enter X mode. So things you can do with that are arm pump to keep moving while everything is in X mode, X-ray mode, sort of. Or you can set off a spark. When you set off a up spark, that sort of doesn't travel. It just increases your V speed by 7 pixels per frame. So you can keep doing that until you want to release it and let off whatever speed you have, and that allows Samus to have just massive V speed. So then it's stored by releasing on a particular frame where she would actually be on the ground, and it sort of locks her to the ground there. And it also converts your spark into a blue suit.
That Ridley fight we just saw was using a lot of lag reduction, only 10, I believe there's 10 X factors.
Yeah, so Ridley has, I think it's 30,000 HP. Not 30,000. 20,000.
Some really significant graphical corruption right back there.
18,000. Thank you, nobody nada. So using supers and X factors, that special beam attack. So right here, you see one of those super jumps that is going to continuously corrupt our graphics if we were on the non-encoded version, or non-graphics fix encoded version. So that builds up the graphical bugs over time.
Some fantastic commentary as well from Nobody Nada and Eternized Dragon in chat. Thank you so much for that. All right, where are we headed next?
So next up, we are going to head to Meridia. And I believe, as you said before, we're going to collect that high jump boots on the way out. So we're able to, the reason it was so much faster is that we're able to do a very short charge and get blue to go through this tunnel with a speedball.
Wow, that is
so normally you would
not easy.
Yeah, no. So normally you'd go under, and you'd have to kill that bug, the Sova, in order to get the door open, on the way back, and then you'd come back the over route.
Does the 6 second, I think you said it's 6.6 seconds per item. I noticed that there was an energy tank picked up there. Was that to recover health?
Yeah, so that's for a refill, as well as the rainbow beam from Mother Brain at the end of the game does exactly 300 health worth of damage, as long as Varia is equipped. So this task should be Varia only. We're not going to pick up gravity at all. So you're going to see a suitless Meridia coming up. So you're definitely going to need Ice Beam in order to get through that.
And now's a fascinating section. So we're headed to Meridia with high jump. What? Let's see. I'm looking through the notes from Sniq. There's some crazy stuff coming up.
Yeah. So right here, we are going to backdoor into Meridia. That gate you're not supposed to be able to open from that head direction. What happened is we froze a bug in a very specific position in order to clip on top of it. So we're tricking the game into thinking that we're on the very top of that hat bug, on the very edge, and that gets us underneath the gate. So a failsafe goes off for the gate, and it opens because it thinks Samus is underneath it. So normally, in Meridia, if you didn't have Gravity Suit, lots of things would be just unnavigable.
That was unexpected.
But we're able to, yeah. So we're able to backdoor into Plasma and collect this beam when you definitely shouldn't be able to get it. You're not supposed to be able to get it until after you kill Dragon. But we sort of clipped behind the gray door with that that X-ray spark or super jump, and that allowed us to collect it early, which will come in very handy for the Dragon fight itself, where we're going to be able to use a manipulation of the X-ray scope again in order to kill Dragon essentially with one beam shot. So coming up here, we're gonna farm up some health, and then we are going to do one of those X-ray sparks in order to put us over just far enough into that door that we can do a wall jump check, and that pins us to the actual door transition on the inside of the door, and that allowed us to skip Botwoon. And we have just saved a spike suit. So there's a spark stored. You've seen that a few times actually, and we will use that later.
Would you normally in an RTA run use this mechanism of coming through here equipped as you are?
Definitely not. So oftentimes we'll do one method or another of a full halfy to just spark across. I think in some old low percent routes you may do some version of deboosting across those spikes to get through. So, because Sniq converted that blue suit into, or I'm sorry, that spike suit into a blue suit, it's able to not take damage from these guys, and we're just going to stay up top the whole time. We're not even going to bother killing the turrets. Dragon is dead. What happened there is, because Plasma Beam is able to pass through enemies, and not just terminate on touching an enemy, you can wait until the plasma shot is inside of an enemy, like Dragon in this instance, and then activate your X-ray scope. During that time, the shot and Dragon will stop moving, and that allows Dragon's iframes to keep running out. So we're able to just activate, deactivate the X-ray scope each time the iframes run out, and therefore hit Dragon once again. And
is incredibly
takes about
glitchy.
6 X-ray presses. So here we are using a stored super jump. As I described it earlier, we stored it with a sort of variation on a slope killer glitch in order to get into the door transition and then spark up or jump up through those floor blocks and get into the next one. And here we have an elevator skip, because elevators take too long.
The insane tightness of the mechanics. It's just the subtle movement of navigating these areas is so much faster than I could ever imagine doing on my own.
So now we are moving into the wreck ship to go kill Fantoon. Is the last thing that we have to do. We did just go through the Forgotten Highway, which is named such as we basically just don't ever go there. There are a few RTA runs that do go there, but they're mainly things like map completion. So kind of neat that the TAS actually does come through an area where there's just no reason to go there otherwise. So once again, we're going to use that same X-ray and plasma combination that we call microwave beam to kill Fantoon. We do have to get Fantoon moving with a missile shot first. Because normally if you hit Fantoon with a charge beam that does over a certain amount of damage, or anything that does over a certain amount of damage on that very first spot, Fantoon will just disappear. So we hit it with a missile and then hit that X-ray plasma combination.
And is it just me, or did Sniq make Samus moonwalk?
Yeah, so we've actually been using moonwalk throughout the run for various things, for that moonfall, and also there's a lot of one-frame moonwalks. So if you moonwalk backwards and then on the very next frame, start running forwards. You're able to start running forward in with slightly more run speed. So Sniq's been using that throughout the TAS in various places.
One quick note, while TAS Videos does have the author description from Sniq, there's also a page for game information on Super Metroid with a lot of very precise details, very specifically to TAS details that might also sometimes apply to RTA. That resource is very helpful on the game resources page for Super Metroid. All right, where are we headed next?
So the very last place that we have to go is down to Torian. We have killed all 4 main bosses, and we are off to fight Mother Brain.
And hovering, apparently?
Yeah, so it has to do with that uninterruptible animation. So when we use this a lot for quick drops. So Sniq did a moonfall, and he's not actually building a whole lot of speed here, but he's slowly building up fall speed by doing these turnarounds and not landing. So the turnaround animation being uninterruptible stops the landing animation from happening. So we're just going to hover over these blocks until they start to disappear. And just drop very fast.
It saves frames.
So coming up here, normally coming through this area with this kind of ammo would be absolutely terrifying. We very much need full ammo by the end of these Metroids, and Sniq is just skipping drops because they're too far away. So we're gonna be heavily manipulating what frame these enemies die on in order to change what drops we get and get exactly full ammo and at least 301 health to survive that rainbow beam. The reason we need all of that ammo is because the first phase of the Mother Brain fight Mother Brain only takes damage from missiles and super missiles, so we absolutely have to have that non-negotiable. So there we were able to skip the Metroid baby in a way that definitely only TAS can do. Just utilizing the sheer speed of arm pumping.
That part is terrifying as a casual runner.
There are some new methods for it that are quite a bit easier. Stachio Cat was memeing around and just managed to find something that ended up being faster and easier. So any percent RTA runs actually have a new baby skip method now.
Fun.
That was just a couple months ago.
What amazes me is this game came out this long ago, and we're still finding new strategies for it. But go on.
Yeah, almost 30 years ago now. So you may have noticed Samus was running on that platform just into Mother Brain's head and was able to get a Shine Spark and then quickly converted that into a spike suit. So that wasn't just for show, actually. We're going to use it here in just a second. So normally we have a method to stand up during the third phase of this Mother Brain fight, but you would need 4 extra E-tanks on top of what Sniq already has. So instead, he just set off that Shine Spark right before the Rainbow Beam happened, and that allowed him to stand up, and we will be able to continue this fight and damage Mother Brain during this whole long cutscene where normally you're supposed to be stuck to the ground.
Is that RTA viable?
So, only in certain categories. Like I said, with the other method where you just have more energy, yeah, you're able to do that. There are some things of note for RTA. when your health fills up, the baby starts detaching from you. So you might see Sniq is going to purposely take damage from the head before the baby fills his health up completely. And that just keeps the baby attached because he wants to stay close to Mother Brain and keep damaging it. If the baby detaches too far to the left or too far up, it will end up in a spot where Mother Brain can't hit it, and it will just keep firing, and you'll be soft locked there forever. So one shot from the hyper beam, because all of the rest of Mother Brain is completely dead. We were able to damage it down just that much.
I love how clean that is. All right, now escape. Looks like
it is not
a lag reduction. Is it possible to defeat Mother Brain before she is... No, it's not. Also, I noticed that the upward section was on the far left, and it's usually RTA in the right, correct?
On the far left of...
As in, when Samus went straight up, it was all the way on the far left in that narrow gap, whereas usually... Yeah, right here.
Oh, yes, this. So yeah, it's very precise. You can actually do that RTA, but like I said, it's very precise. You have to do I believe you have to do a slight bit of a short charge, but grabbing that spark is in a very particular spot, and then shine sparking straight up instead of going across allows us to start that spark a little bit sooner.
Yeah. And of course, this is a tool-assisted speedrun that's aiming for the fastest possible time, so no saving the animals, saving the frames instead. The entire run that you just saw was real-time, or recorded tool-assisted speedrun time was 35 minutes and 58 seconds, 0.31. So 35:58.31. This was a total of 369,385 re-records, not counting Sniq's previous work and all of the other contributors that worked on this particular game and this category prior to that point. As we go through the end credits,
so,
what other comments do you have on this run?
I was going to say that the normal way that we time RTA runs is a little bit different from the way that TAS runs are timed. So all of that intro cutscene normally would not be there. That puts the real-time timing of this TAS. This was, you said 34 minutes. It should be around 32 because that cutscene is about 2 minutes. So that's in comparison to our RTA world record is currently a 40:36, I want to say. I may be wrong on that. It's new at the time of this recording. Oats and Goats just got it about a month ago. And so this TAS is definitely about 8 minutes faster than what we can do real time.
It's pretty incredible.
Insanely impressive.
Eternized Dragon was a collaborator on this run along with Sniq, and Nobody Nada helped with the game end glitch version. Before that, there were dozens of people who were involved in making these tool-assisted speedrun improvements over the course of many obsoletions. So this is just the latest in many, many improvements on Super Metroid, and who knows? Maybe someone will come along and take what's here and improve it further. That person could be you, even.
Absolutely. There are lots of resources for things that we use to TAS with LSNES, BizHawk. We have lots of hitbox viewer scripts. All of that is available on tasvideos.org.
If you look at the author notes, which you can find at tasvideos.org/5833s, you'll see a list of known and potential improvements for this run made by Sniq, specifically a couple of frames here and there that might be potentially saved with different strategies, and that was what was known at the time this run was made available. But most of those saves were in the order of less than a dozen frames here and there. Sniq specifically calls out special thanks to Eternized Dragon and Taco, Dan, and Total, the previous Super Metroid TASers, Overfiend for improving the appearance of the submission, and the entirety of the Super Metroid speedrunning community. On behalf of the TAS Videos site staff, thank you very much for watching this commentary run, and thank you to DarkXoa for joining me here on commentary. It was a real fun ride. Yeah, absolutely. Our final rate for collecting items is 21%.